OCO, what's up, beautiful souls? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mamina. You can call me Mina for short, or Divine Starseed. This is a pick a card for the collective. How are you blowing the minds, or how will you blow the minds of the people around you? That song keeps channeling in, so we're going to dive on into it. Before you choose your pile, close your eyes. Inhale slowly for the count of 3. Hold the breath for 2. Exhale for 3. Pause the video, do that as many times as you need to until you feel grounded, and then make your choice between pile 1, 2, or 3 that you see laid here before you, and I will see you at your choice. All right, welcome, pile 1. You chose this message. We're going to see what resonates here for you. First, we're going to get some individual numbers. The numbers in the beginning were for everyone, so I do recommend watching that part in case you guys like just skip straight to a pile so that you guys can do that breath work and take in those numbers. But let's get your personal ones that are just for your pile. Ooh, we got 113, 11-3, 113. 113 might be very significant. Could be an important date for someone. Could actually be like a person's combination. I'm not trying to give away your stuff. I always got to say that when I get those type of messages, but someone's combination to something could be 113, or it's a part of it. Either way, I always recommend taking the numbers down to a double and single digit, and then looking up the meanings of those sequences to see how else it will contribute to your message. I'm also seeing 5-7 in my mind's eye right now, so 5-7 is also significant for someone or a couple of you. Let's get into your channeled message. We have learn everything from nothing. My regulars are already probably like reciting the saying that they hear me say all the time. My saying, to know everything is to know nothing. To know nothing is to know everything. You guys who've been around for a long time, you've heard me say this all the time, and it's coming through with just that one little line. Be prepared to jump into the void of nothingness. Be prepared to forget everything you thought you knew, because I said this in another reading. You're in a new timeline. Some of the things that used to work before aren't going to work now. That's okay. Don't be afraid of the evolution and change that is happening organically within you. This isn't something that you have to force, but it is something you have to participate in. You get confirmation of that with the include yourself in your list of materials. Include yourself in that grand design. Include yourself. When you see all that magic happening around you, don't be the, I wish I could. Man, it'd be great if I... No. You are a part of it. You are a part of it. There is a role for you. In fact, beyond just an idea of a role, there is a major evolution that takes place within you that contributes not only to your personal world, but to the world around you and to the universe at large, because nothing you do is insignificant. There's no such thing as an insignificant thought. All right. And some people ain't going to be pleased about this. A lot of you might have considered yourself to be confident before, but there was always a part of you that sort of cared what others may think, what they may say about you, how they may perceive you. Sometimes even your own pride perhaps got in the way when it came to that too. That's not going to matter anymore. And if you thought it was going to still matter, you're going to need to open up and expand your mind. So be prepared to jump into the void. Okay, which is what this artist here did. They did a portrait of them like jumping off of something into a street or into a void. And that's what I'm hearing. Jump into the void, jump into the void. Okay. Next, we have enroll in judo class. Enroll in something that helps you to center yourself and focus. It gives you ritual practice of focus, to ritually practice focus. And it helps you to center yourself while being both still and in motion. So for some of you, this could be actually like enrolling legit in judo or yoga or something of that nature, whatever that may look like for you. But it's getting into a practice. It keeps you active. It keeps things fun and exciting for you, but it also helps you to learn to calm down, because some of you, your energy at times can be a bit sporadic. Now, I'm channeling a song here before we get into the tarot, our first tarot deck here. And the song, like I said in the beginning, it's Let Me Blow Your Mind by Eve and Gwen Stefani. Well, it's Eve featuring Gwen Stefani. And the part of the verse I'm hearing for you, pile 1, is the top of the first verse, which is drop your glasses, shake your asses, face screwed up like you're having hot flashes. Which one? Pick one. This one, classic. Your classic, boo. It don't matter who else they try to pick. It don't matter what else, even in your own catalog, whatever that may be for you, right? That could be art, whatever you are talented with. Even if they were to go back and look at the things that you might have gotten, praise for before, what you're doing now, how you're molding yourself now, this is classic. This is eternal. In that song, you have two individuals that are very unique, very different, especially at that time, coming together and creating a classic. Even the beat to that song is classic. Think about yourself kind of stepping into that light, stepping into that kind of role where even the people that you collab with might be people you never thought, like I never thought I would even get along with somebody like this. Or I thought that they were cool, but I didn't think that our styles could match or our friendship could expand that way. And then it does. And then everything that's produced out of that energy is amazing. What I'm seeing in my head right now for you, Pal One, you know how back in the old days, especially in old school movies, like from the 20s and 30s, they would have a person maybe of like a different skin tone or background, or maybe they were just like from the poor end of the street. They would come into these like fancy places to perform. And as much as everybody might like their performance, the fact that they started being able to sit at the tables, the fact that they started being able to make good money in the place made the others feel like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. You got one job if you do come here, and that's to be the help, or that's to just be on stage and entertain, or whatever the case may be. Who you think you are sitting at the table? Who you think you are getting front row seats and blah, 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 blah. That's how some people are going to respond to your growth. It's like you come in and but here's the thing. You'll be at a point where you're so confident in what you're doing that when you enter spaces like that, them screwed up faces isn't going to matter. That's why you're going to be like, which one? Pick one, because this one's classic. Everything I do is eternal. So it really don't matter how you feel. At the end of the day, you're going to drop your jaw. You might even let a couple of wine glasses slip out your hands, and then you're going to move your ass to my beat regardless. That's the attitude coming in for you guys, Pal One. So even if you're used to being a little bit shy, a little bit timid, it's a new timeline, it's a new era, it's a new day. Okay, let's get into the tarot. For Pal One, how are you blowing their minds, Pal One? Four of Cups. One more. See, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you don't even understand. Some of you don't even understand. Like, you've been sitting around thinking to yourself, everything I've tried, it either didn't come quite out the way I wanted to, or it had, mild success. And you just sometimes kind of feel like, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else is left to do. And then in comes this offering, or this inner part of yourself, this inner reflection. When you take time to let go of how you thought everything else was supposed to work, you let go of all of this energy over here, you start to see that cup that's shining with that rainbow, with that light in there, this of creativity and importance, and you start allowing yourself to drink that up, to drink it in. And as you do so, the things that'll come to you, the visions, the ideas, the new creativity, the emotional balance that starts to come in, all of a sudden you go, oh, that was the one thing I was missing? Because I guarantee you, whatever it is you thought you were missing, it's already within you. And it's probably so freaking simple. You know what I mean? It's probably so simple. But you've got to come out of focusing on what didn't work, where you think you feel incomplete, where you believe something's missing. And if something is missing, stop focusing on just the fact that it's missing and focus more so on the solution, because the solution is right there within you. It's not even just by you. A lot of times in the Five of Cups energy, there's two extra cups like behind the person, indicating what you really need or what you're seeking is closer at hand than you may believe. No, this is like within you, but you just have to let go. So I'm actually seeing the Five of Cups as a version of that, like a version of letting go of certain expectations, letting go of what you thought was failures. Oh, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this and it didn't work. Okay, some things work, but it was minuscule. When you release all of that, you're able to see how those events actually help to prepare you for the major blessings that are coming in. You start to tap in. You start to really accept that. What did we say earlier? Jumping into the void, jumping into the unknown. The high priestess represents that unknown and following intuition. Let me simplify this for you. Intuition doesn't always mean that you know the details of every little aspect. Intuition, psychic awareness, most of the time, is us trusting that the download we receive is what it is. And what does that mean? If I'm told I need to be somewhere at a specific time, but I'm not given the particulars of why, I trust I need to be somewhere at that specific time. Whatever the reason may be will reveal itself when I get to that point. This is why sometimes when you guys book personal readings, or even when you watch collective readings, on one hand, you'll feel like you were given the key, like, oh my God, like that's it. That's what I was missing, right? But then other times it's like, I feel that this makes sense and I get with the rules, but why? You'll keep asking, but why? But why? Why do I have to go there? Why do I need to meet this person? Stop asking the why. Just do. Just do it. It's not because it's wrong to ask the why. It's because you'll fill your head so many times with, okay, these ideas was cool, but how come they didn't pay off? Why? Okay, if we spent 2 seconds on the why, we would figure it out and then be solution oriented in a normal world, right? But that's not what the average person does. What the average person does is, even if they figure out the solution, they begin to question if the solution is going to work. And then by the time the prize is coming in, like, hey, here I am, the solution you were thinking of. Remember all that other stuff that kind of didn't pan out, all those other things you made, and here's the result that's like a collaboration of all of that, but it's in a new, innovative way. So you can't present me or approach me the way you did these other 3 things that you thought failed or that weren't so great. I always say that in the 4 of Cups, the other 3 cups are like, okay, this one was it was kind of bland. This one was too sweet. This one was like basic. And then in comes that one that's like the perfect recipe, the perfect remedy. But if you keep ignoring it, you're going to start feeling this withdrawal, depressive energy. Oh, I don't think I have anything to offer. Oh, woe is me, blah, blah, blah. You'll spend so much time crying over that. My blood, sweat, and tears went into that. Again, you'll miss out on the blessings that have now multiplied. Because remember, a lot of times in the 5 of Cups, there's 3 cups or 4 cups, 3 cups knocked over, 2 cups normally sit behind the person. So now you got an extra blessing added to the pot that you're ignoring. Come up out of that. Come up out of that. You're going to blow people's minds when you do, because then comes this highly intuitive side of yourself that starts making moves and just trusting the process of those moves. People who are used to, watching you maybe give up, or used to watching you work hard at something and get so depressed when it doesn't pan out, are going to be shocked when you not only start getting great results, but you start moving different. You start accepting, okay, this didn't quite work. Let me transition this a little different. It's not always the goal. I keep hearing a lot of Krishna in his Krishna and Vishnu form when he's like, it's not always the goal that's the problem. I'm paraphrasing for you guys right now. It's not always the goal that's the problem. It's the way you try to execute it, or it's the things that you try to utilize to go about it. Sometimes you have to change your materials. Maybe you're not even including yourself in that success story. You're thinking about your business, or you're thinking about what it is you want to do, but you keep thinking of it from a perspective of outside of yourself, or maybe from the perspective of, oh, this would be great, but I'm not including me as the person who indicates the greatness. I'm putting it on someone else. Oh, I need this writer to write this thing that's good, or I need this person to come in. It's kind of like you're tallying out jobs to people that are starting within yourself. And it's not saying that you shouldn't be able to, if you need the assistance, hire or get the assistance, but you have to realize how great your vision and yourself, your key is to it. You get what I'm saying? Like, you need to understand how important your role is. You can't just pass your part off to someone else, because even if another person comes in and helps you, even if they become your assistant, they're basing what they do on your vision. So your vision has to be one that can come out of an expansive place. It has to come out of that intuitive, expansive place. This is when your instincts and your intuition collaborate. It's with that high priestess. And you're tapping into that part of your awareness. You're tapping into that part of the unknown. There could even be a person who comes in and gives you spiritual guidance in this era. But like I tell you guys all the time, we can give you guidance, but we are by no means here to do the job for you. Nor are we meant to give you all the little itty bitty nitty gritty details all the time. The things that we do give you details for, that's just to help prepare you. Once you're in the moment, you got to do what you got to do. And that's why the choice is always yours. The responsibility is always yours. You can't put it on anybody else. Let's get into the next part of your message. Now comment your takeaways and that you're following along so far. You might have to watch this a few times. That's fine. The part of the message for you will make sense to you when it's meant to. Okay? We just listen. Ooh, babes. Pile one. Pile one. What did I just say? 2 of Cups, right? 2 blessings. 2 blessings. You normally have in the 4 of Cups, 4 cups sitting up straight. That person was like, okay, I made this one too salty. Made this one too sweet. Made that one too bitter. I don't like none of this. None of this came out the way I wanted it to. It's all right. Somebody gonna like one of these extremes, but it's too extreme for me. In comes that other one. It's like, you know what? I'm the mixture of everything great. Everything great, right? And the 5 of Cups. There's normally cups spilt over. 1 through 3 spilt over. 4 and 5 standing up in the back off to the side somewhere. But that person's ignoring those, just like they ignored the first one that came in. So if you think about how this is going, the fact that a 4 of Cups and the 5 of Cups came out back to back like that, if you think of that transition, it's like, here's this thing that can help you get stable. Now here's the one that can help you make the change, because 5 is change. But you kind of ignore it at first. You don't allow yourself to fully feel it at first. And then all of a sudden, here comes the intuition, right? That intuitive nudge. There's something you're not paying attention to. There's something you're ignoring. Mind you, cup energy came out. And what was the first part of the song I told y'all? Drop your glasses, right? And I saw wine glasses like slipping out of people's hands, jaws falling to the floor when you entered a space, or when you finally implemented a certain plan, when you finally put something in motion and you did it from an intuitive place. You did it because you started thinking different. You started moving different. You didn't let pride and anything else get in the way of your greatness. Most importantly, it's a cocky ass song. I don't like to say cocky, it's more so confident because cocky can go left real quick, but it's a very confident, like you can't deny me. That's really what this is about. You can't be denied, but you must include yourself in understanding that about yourself. It's like sometimes you don't. You know that an idea is great. You know something you want out of life is great, but you don't include yourself as a part of the description to that greatness. It might be rare that you say, I am beautiful, I am confident, I am powerful, I'm a powerhouse. And we're not talking about speaking of this from a conceited space where you just disregard others in order to feel great. No. We're talking about genuine confidence. That's why I said that song is a collaboration between two very different women with 2 very different styles. But when they came together, the shit was classic. When you pull all of the different aspects of yourself together, it's classic. When you start to step out of what you thought was going to work and you start listening sometimes to people who are so different than what you might be used to, then much like a song, much like a painting, much like anything in life, you will find that new remedy. Sometimes people have to move out of the country just to fully expand their vision and so on and so forth. And that's kind of like where you are. Maybe not something as drastic as a move, but that's just where you are. And there are going to be people who don't like you in the space. There are going to be people who are like, who are you? Who you think you are coming up in here and getting a seat? You're not even here to really get a seat at the table, love. Like, you don't give a damn about the table. You maybe a part of you used to, right? But it's not even about sitting at that table with them people. And that's going to make them even madder. Like, oh, so you too good to sit with us now? You too good? And they're going to screw up their faces. That you're the person on the stage, that you're the person pulling things together. Something within you is coming together, but there's also partnerships, collaborations, deals are on the table. Name whispered on the mouth of people. You're different. They could pick any one they want, this one, that one, but you're the classic one. You're the person that they're seeking. You have the energy within you, and that energy, that's going to be what brings you those rewards. That's going to be what lets you sit back and indulge in the moment, and indulge in the moment you should. Don't let nobody take the moment from you. Don't let anybody dim your light. Some of you are here right now as you watch this reading. Whenever you come across it, you're at that point where you're starting to see things come together. People are going to be shocked, like, they didn't give up. they didn't just stay depressed? What's this new enlightened version of them all of a sudden? Or this powerhouse version of them that's in front of us now? Where the hell did that come from? People going to be mad. They're going to be salty. But that's not your problem. Because at the same time that some of them are mad and salty, they're going to want you to give them more. And that goes to the chorus. If I had to give you more, it's only been a year. Now I got my foot in the door and I ain't going nowhere. It took a while to get me here, so I'm gonna take my time. Don't fight that new shit in your ear. Now let me blow your mind. You're gonna blow their mind. They're gonna want to fight it. They're gonna want to resist it. No, you're gonna blow their mind anyway. Right? So for some of y'all, it was a job interview, entrepreneurship, just reaching a new version of yourself, just accepting a new part of who you are and finding the right people, the right likeness and etc., then that's just where you are right now. Okay? I really feel like you guys should listen to that song, Pauline. I always recommend that. Oop. Barely had to shuffle. Back to the future, reviewing your choices. Look at that. And look at where that goes. 4 of Cups. That reflection energy. But you're not reflecting to relive the past. Okay, with that back to the future, you're not reflecting to relive the past. You're tapping in to see, what did I miss? And instead of me asking why, let me just focus on what I clearly see the solution is. Now let me implement that solution, even if I have to do it in bits and pieces. Most importantly, let me remember that only I can implement that the way that I need to for what it's going to do for me. Meaning I'm including myself in those materials. I'm including myself in that vision board. Some of y'all be making vision boards and you'll put like the house you want, the car you want, but you don't put a picture of yourself. Think about that for a second. Think about how much quicker certain stuff might manifest if you actually like took a picture of yourself, cut it out, put it in the car you said you want, put it near the house on the property that you said you wanted, right? Signing a check to yourself from yourself if necessary. Like, you know what I mean? Because when you do entrepreneurship work, at some point you are paying yourself. You pay yourself. You know what I mean? So it's like putting yourself in a position where you see and include. So somebody needs to do that. You have a vision board and it's been working for you for a little bit, but you need to start putting yourself in the picture, not just visualizing it mentally alone. If you already created the board itself on your phone, on your wall, wherever you have it, ain't that damn hard to cut out a picture of yourself with all these apps, green screen, you know what I mean? And push yourself in the moment. Sometimes when you go, look, I'm not a window shopper, right? But this is what I'm seeing somebody might need to do. Sometimes when you go shopping, just try shit on. You ain't got to buy it. Go in the store, pick out something you like with confidence, go in the changing booth, try it on, look at yourself in the mirror. If you got your phone, take pictures of yourself in that outfit, in those, sitting on that bed, sitting on that couch you wanted. Now, when you go home or on your phone, when you build your vision board, guess what just happened? You included yourself in the materials of your own manifestations. When you think of the I, think of how you're connected to source. Not just, I'm this singular person out here all by myself in the void of, no. I'm jumping into the void of nothing, which is everything. So therefore, I am supported by everything. I'm abundant. There's nothing blocking my path. Some of you might need to do some cord cutting. Some of you might need to do some road opening. But a huge part of doing that is visualizing yourself already being free. Bada bing, bada boom. When you go to review things, all of a sudden the answers that you were missing before, they come in. You may not know how you know, because that's another thing about the high priestess. When the high priestess sends messages, you don't know how you know what was just told to you. You just know that you need to do it. You just know you need to be where you needed to be. And then once something happens, you'll intuitively know that was the thing I was looking for. And then it keeps going and then it keeps going. By the time you need to get further guidance, maybe it's booking a reading, maybe it's watching whatever you were led to watch. You get the little snippets and pieces of what you need for your situation. You review it, and then it shows you how to move forward. Okay? We have all drama or all action. When I think drama in this context, it's like, are you all talk? Or you all here for getting caught up on the people who want to screw their faces up at you and start arguments and beef with you? Or are you about that action? I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to give you a chance to create a story, a fictional story about me. I'm going to just show you with these moves. Drop your glasses, shake your asses, face screwed up like you having hot flashes. Which one? You know what I mean? You see how that connects, right? Yeah. You don't have time for the drama. You don't have time to be all talk. You don't have time to go back and forth with somebody. You know how sometimes when people kind of like try to tell you how your vision isn't going to work. Do you understand how many great people we have because they did not listen when people told them, oh, that vision is never going to work. You want that's too many things. You're trying to do too much. You got to know yourself, and some things you will have to go through trial and error with, but you have to understand why something's coming to you so strongly the way that it does. Is it really just your ego? Because if it's that, check that. Or is it really just the divine moving you how you need to be moved to get to where you're trying to go, to receive the type of rewards, the connection and rewards that you're meant to receive, the partnerships you're meant to receive? I said it, I'm gonna say it again. That song is a duel. Eve featuring Gwen Stefani. Two people. You get what I'm saying? There's something here about you eventually as you come together within yourself, coming together with another energy that you can collab with, and the payoff of that. Being able to sit back and go, oh, I can indulge in this right now, in this reward, in this luxury. And notice how this person is sitting there like, yeah, those are all mine. No shame. No shame. I'm just chilling with my awards in the background. Not trying to, I mean, it's gentle flossing, as we would say. They flossing on you, but it's like, it's kind of gentle. Like that's where you might find yourself. We have color television. You can't make it up. Tuning out the distractions. I don't need to say nothing else. I said it all. We said it all. We've been saying it all. That was the 80s oracle. We're now going to get into this oracle by Mystic Star Magic. See what else we have for you, pile one. A trip, a journey, a new journey is starting for you. Some of you, remember what I said about like sometimes you need to get out of like the country, or you need to get out of where you live. Sometimes taking a trip, it really be a trip, if you get my drift, and you expand like things. Sometimes when you stay in one space too long and you at least don't even like allow yourself to imagine outside of that space, you suffocate yourself. You suffocate your creativity, your ideas. You need to like get out. If you got a car, hop in the car, fill that tank up. Drive, you know what I mean? Drive a little bit further than you normally would, right? Listen to your instincts, listen to your intuition, know your surroundings. But there's a freedom here. There's a freedom coming in here for you guys. The fact that there's a vehicle here and then a train, and I just mentioned getting the car. This train also has like a lot of little presents and stuff on it. It's your move, boo. It's on you. You can't blame nobody if you don't make these moves. You can't blame nobody if you don't start accepting your gifts, jumping into the void, accepting the things that channel from it, accepting yourself as a part of your manifestations. It's on you. You ain't gonna have nobody else to blame about not picking a direction, making a choice. Choices are very powerful in this reading for y'all. Need I say more? What have I been saying the last 30 minutes? Dream big. In full color while you're at it. Visions in full color. See what other messages towards guidance on this coming in for you guys. If I had to give you more. We have a wrong note is significant. Playing without passion. Look at this. Look, the fact that it's Beethoven. I've been speaking about Beethoven like all week. I kid you not. Several different people all week. And now Beethoven actually comes out as a sign for somebody. Take a moment. The fact that it says destiny is knocking at your door. Conduct a symphony in silence. What were we just talking about? Are you going to be all talk, aka all drama? Or are you going to actually take action and then present what it is when it comes forth? Do you understand that there were people who did not like this person's artistry when they first started? There were people, who does this person think they is, coming in here playing their music so dramatically, being so dynamic, dark, and who they think they are? Now, classical teachers dictate to you with the same person. There are some people who are purist. Those same people who are purists today would have been the same people, mofos, that didn't like him back then. But now they teach him to you like, oh, he's a master. A classical master. You must listen to Beethoven, the blah, 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 blah. But you're the same type of person that would have shitted on him when he started that style that he did. Him, Mozart, a lot of people did not like them at first. But they were defiant. I don't give a shit if you like me. This is what I'm feeling. So this is what I'm going to do. But you going to shake your ass anyway. Like you gonna like this regardless. I don't even understand why you think I should be moved by you being mad at what I'm capable of doing. And I guarantee you, most of the people that was also mad at him, it wasn't just that they were so-called purists, they couldn't do. That's the truth about people who are so-called purists, is that they're not really pure at all. And they're half of the time just mad that they can't do what the other person can do. They've become used to putting themselves in a box. How dare you come out the box? How dare you be diverse? If you know, you know. Okay? And then to add to that, Bob Marley, one love. Doing things from love, doing things harm to none, full of grace, but not allowing somebody to take away your power. Allowing that wisdom to just flow out. Bob would say a lot of things that if you probably would have asked him where does it come from, he probably would say the creator and the one love, and that's it. There wouldn't have been much else. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have to spend time harping on the why. Just this is what it's for and this is what it's meant to do. So here, this is the message. And this is how the message will move the people. So that also says what you're meant to do is going to move people. But I feel like you needed your message to hit home different. Okay? The smallest act can fell the tallest tree. The fruits of Babylon are rotten to the core. Everything that is holy is among us here on earth. Like, listen. For someone, you're this diverse as well. When it comes to like things you listen to, you're that diverse. You know, like you can listen to a Beethoven and then flip the radio and listen to a Bob Marley and then flip the radio and listen to like Metallica and then flip the radio, and you get what I'm saying? So a lot of people aren't going to understand how your brain works just because of that. There are very few of us who can flip that many stations, tune in and channel that many different kind of eclectic energies to where it not only makes sense to us, we get how it could all come together, and someone else is sitting there like, how? What's it? Somebody took Beethoven and turned it into like, what was that, disco funk? I guarantee you nobody who was just listening to straight classical or straight this would ever think that those two things could marry and be anything. Least of all classic enough to be on how many movies, you know what I'm saying? The musical genius and insight that would take. And so some people might not like what you grow to do just because they don't like it, just because they want to not like it, just because they can't do it. They don't want to comprehend what they can't do. But there are people who are going to be inspired by you, and that inspiration is going to cause for them to do new things as well. So your actions, the moves you make, that's important here. I feel like your message has gone it's kind of gone from many different spectrums just to bring you home as we close this out. We have one more pile. Well, not pile, but one more deck that we're going to go to, and then we're going to close your reading out. And again, comment your takeaways, what resonated with you. Speak power into what you're feeling this is inspiring you for. Be sure to subscribe. We have self-love, one love, self-love. It's just so perfect. Like, it's just so perfect. Let the wall fall that separates me from my own vulnerable inner child. I long to take care of myself like never before. I long to give to myself like never before. You are including yourself in the plan, and not just planning around people, not just planning around events, not just planning around even a partner. You're including yourself. Your partner can't see you if you don't see you. And that's whether it be romantic or business. You have to understand that there's something here. And even the people who would see you while you're kind of like sometimes lost in the sauce, if you can't wake up and allow them to say, hey, do you understand like how magical you are? Then you be blind to the greatness that they're trying to bestow upon you or include you in. Jump into that void. Make a move. It all comes back to the first part of your message in Pile 1. I pray that resonated for you. Peace, love, and light, beautiful soul. What's up, Pile 2? You chose this channeled message, but before we get into that, we're going to roll some dice for you. We're going to see what your individual numbers are here. Again, I recommend that you listen to the first part. When I give the breathwork technique, do that technique. See how those numbers resonate with you. And then come back to your pile if you happen to skip. Okay. Otherwise, let's see. What's your 2 numbers? Please be sure to subscribe and comment your takeaways as we dive into your message. We have 4 and 3. Ooh. For several reasons, that's a ooh. If you happen to also choose Pile 1 and you felt a need to watch this one, if you were curious about Pile 1 and you're watching, interesting. The way these numbers are coming out, it's interesting. So take those to a double digit, add them down to a single digit, see what comes in. You can either go with the 34 or you can add 3 and 4 together, however that works for you, boo-boo. Let's get into your channeled message. We have go viral, not bacterial. Do not poison yourself in trying to reach a goal that seems, I don't want to say seems impossible to you, but it's kind of like you think that you have to follow this algorithm to do it. The reality is a lot of people who are successful don't get back-to-back viral videos. I feel like Pal 2, you probably have a YouTube channel, you probably have something like that, or viral can just mean something you're working on, you want it to spread. You want it to have a better outreach, right? Don't drive yourself sick in trying to do that. Work smarter, not harder. But also be mindful that you're not adopting like certain toxic ways or mentalities as you do what you do. It's okay to go viral, right? That's what this artist did. This artist went viral for that time period anyway. They were international. And what eventually happened is later on in life, when they were in older age, if I remember correctly, they ended up passing away due to catching a bacterial illness. So how Spirit is channeling this for you is to be mindful of your health, but also just be mindful that you're not adopting toxic traits, mannerisms, ideals. Sometimes if something you worked on didn't work out, you might find yourself thinking doomsday mentality. Don't do that. Instead, think about the type of people you want to reach. Think about the type of impact you're trying to have and what are the best ways you can bring that impact forward for you, from you. Okay, from you. Don't take input. This isn't about ignoring input, but just understand. And when something you have is successful and it does really well, don't harper on thinking, oh my God, is the next thing I do going to be successful? Stay in a tranquil, creative space. Allow yourself to pay attention to what worked, obviously, because you might want to implement it again. But just don't get stuck on thinking something's going to work out the same way every time, to the point that when it doesn't, you're always starving. Don't be the starving artist. Like, I'm always starving. It's never enough. It's never. Okay, that's what I'm hearing for you guys. We have a flattered client is a repeat client, right? Your clients want to feel good. This ain't about you kissing ass. Your clients want to feel good about their experience, about what happens. And perhaps you're in the same field as you're some type of spiritual advisor. Maybe you're a reader yourself. Again, your clients want to feel understood. Now, sometimes you might have to tell them things. In my case, I tell y'all all the time, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear, based on what a higher source is telling me to deliver to you in collaboration with your own guides. I make space to allow your guides to come into the equation, into the conversation, and speak what they want to speak. And then my job is to translate that to you in a way that hopefully hits home, nail in the head, and resonates for you. I have all confidence that it will, and that it does when it's supposed to. Okay? With that being said, there are no problems without solutions. There are no questions without answers. It's just most people don't actually seek the answer. They seek what they want to hear, or they just want to be on the journey of seeking forever. It's nothing wrong with always wanting to be the explorer, but there is a problem when you kind of want to just seek for the sake of doing it and nothing else, because you're never really satisfied. There's something about not being satisfied here, and needing to expand yourself and your thought processes and allow your views to change so that you can start feeling pleased and happy with your work. That's what clients look for. When they look at the results, when they look at the experience, even if you might have had to kind of chew them out a little bit, right? You know, some people are in those kind of atmospheres where they're the type of person that chews the client out a bit, but the client's appreciative of it because it actually helps them get where they want to be and they feel better for it. You know your situation, you know what category you might fit in here. Whatever that is for you, just bear that in mind when you're dealing with people. That's why I said, again, don't pick up toxic traits. You know, don't look at somebody else who seems successful by being an asshole and think that that's the way to do it, but that's not even your personality. That's not even your makeup. That's not going to work for you, and it ain't really working that great for them. Trust, they're miserable. Okay? They got all that success. I was just listening, and it's coming back to my mind. I was just listening to JQ, and he was saying, it's like one of my favorite people as far as like artistry is concerned. And he was saying, he knows a lot of people who are famous, but not a lot of people who are rich, and a lot of people who might be rich, but they're not famous. Think about what that means. Because viral in today's age, that spreading is normally the spreading of fame, getting your name out there. I don't associate success with fame. I don't even associate being widely known all the time with fame. Fame looks a certain way and it carries a certain vibe. So you can be popular. You can be someone that everyone around the world knows. You could be an international house name. That doesn't mean that you're living in that energy from the standpoint of fame. Because when we look at how fame has been presented to us over the years, the things people had to do, the hoops they had to jump to, you know, the confining of self in many a time. In many cases, fame actually said, no, don't be your creative self. Be whatever I made you up to be. Be whatever the people think you are. So on and so forth. And that becomes a toxic thing, a toxic environment. And if you do this with your business, and then you apply that not only in your business, but you apply that toxic trait to your clients, we're actually in a new shift right now. There are multiple miniature ones happening and major ones happening. But at this moment, whenever you see this, we're already in the thick of a lot of things. The old suffocating way of doing stuff is not going to cut it. The old way of working, the old way of being in any of these industries, it's all going to change. And a lot of those people can't accept that. And the ones who can't accept it are going to be the main ones that you see struggling the most all of a sudden. It's no longer about feeling suffocated. It's no longer about making someone feel like crap just so that you can mold them into what you want them to look like. This may not be your intention, but that's why you have to be mindful of certain actions you're taking to make sure that that's not something you're projecting. Your personality can be as colorful as a canvas. You see what I'm saying? It all correlates. You don't have to confine yourself, nor do you have to confine the people that you work with. You just have to find out the best ways to present that energy. How can it be authentic? Because this is the time of authenticity. How can it be authentic, but at the same time, people can digest it easily? An example of this is the same person I'm talking about was he wrote half of Usher's Yeah, right? And him and I believe it was Sean wrote that. And when Sean went in the booth to start like singing it, it was really fast. It was a lot. He was going to keep going with that, right? And so Q was like, nah, that's a lot. You're doing a whole lot. We need to slow it down somewhere. Now they beefed about it for a little bit, in the studio, kind of going back and forth, each one thinking that the other one's way was correct. But the most authentic version of the sound, to stay in line with whatever they were coming up with, would be, in reality, when a fast talker speaks, there is a moment of pause. There is a moment of sometimes slowing down. And if they don't, you tend to the average person will miss most of what they said, right? So it was like, okay, go from that to you see what I'm saying? Like it became levels to what was going on. Granted, by the time we get it, it's even more refined. But why do you think the song was so loved? It was not only new, it had a storyline that was easy to follow, but as you learn the song, you could get the lyrics. You know what I mean? Like it made sense. Like you could sing it and not run out of breath, even though it had these fast parts. There was something to that, the artistry of that. So I'm feeling, for whatever reason, this energy is channeling for you, pal, too. There's that kind of vibe where you have to learn the pace of things, the flow of things, and allow yourself to be really expressive and colorful. Just know the pattern or the pace that you may need for it, and don't allow somebody to just stick you in one mold, because a lot of people wanted that song to be drastically different than what it was. And those were experienced, expert people that was like, oh no, this don't sound like what we want this person to have. Oh, it's got features on it. We don't like this person's first song having features and blah, blah, blah. Because for those of us who know Ush first singles never had features. Features were always later. Remixes were later. His first singles were normally always just him. You see what I'm saying? And so in comes this person who's like a legit feature, like you're rapping and collabing with him. It's not just your background vocal, you're actually like a part of it, like it's a joint effort. You know what I'm saying? That was new for someone like him. And so there were people in his team who were like, that's not what we do around here. If those guys didn't stand to some degree by their idea, we wouldn't have had that song, which ended up becoming like a new kind of twist on music at that time. So many other songs that came out after that were pretty much like the baby of Yeah, if you would, right? The main partner and child of Yeah. So there's something to that. Maybe that song is also significant. Maybe it gets you hype, not because of the story per se, though there's many different interpretations to it. But maybe that like, bum, bum, dun, dun, like something about that melody, something about the pace of the song is your personality. And sometimes you might be trying to contain certain parts of it, and Spirit's like, no, be as colorful as the canvas. Just sometimes know the pace that you might have to be at. Do you need to go fast? Do you need to slow it down? That's all. And when you're working with a client, remember that and incorporate that in the energy. Let's get into the tarot for y'all. Let's see. How are you blowing people's minds? How to. Ooh, the way that you're bringing things together. Somebody here is having visions. What I'm hearing is the way that you bring things together, almost like, not even almost, literally like a home that you're building for yourself. You could be working somewhere. A lot of times when people work at certain companies or they work in a certain field, they'll say my home, right? Especially in the music industry and the entertainment energy. They'll go, oh, well, my home at Sony, or da 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 da. There's something to that. I feel like you're building your own thing. That's why they said flattered clients. You could be wanting to make your own video streaming site. Maybe you want to make it for people who do my kind of work, something that's more supportive of us, where people, clients, whatever, can connect with us. A lot of people are coming out with these ideas, but maybe you have an idea that is so different that a lot of people are kind of poo-pooing on it. Like, nah, that's too much. Who gonna follow that? Who gonna do that? And you're sitting up here and you're studying and doing the research and you're like, no, this could work. This could work. That's why you have to be mindful of the input that you're getting and make sure you're not absorbing something toxic, and or that you're not running your mind and your body into the ground. That's not going to help you. That's not going to be sufficient. You can go viral with what you're trying to do. In other words, you can spread your message, or you can have success, tremendous success in the thing that you're trying to do. But you don't want to be a one-hit wonder. You want a legacy. You have a capability of bringing people together in a really unique way. And that's a part of what you need to focus on, is that energy. So you see how that all connects? With the Two of Swords, this is where the sometimes the indecisiveness can come in. Is it's like, what you want to do and you can see in your mind how it's going to work. It's just maybe implementing it. Okay, I know how it could work, but how do I implement it? And sometimes the input you're getting just it's not equal to. And it's and I think that's why that situation with Q and Sean popped up. Is like, that was a brilliant collaborative effort, but they actually kind of argued about it at first, because each person was in their own ego, each person was in their own bag, even though they hadn't had that big of a success yet. At least I think Q hadn't yet. And it was like, okay, well, my idea is good. Well, my idea is good. But really, it needed to come together. Like, this is the second time a collaborative energy is coming in. So if you felt moved to watch Pile 1, there's a reason. If you've already watched Pile 1 and you're here, you probably get it. You're connecting the dots already. And the song that channeled for all three piles was Eve featuring Gwen Stefani. Two drastically different energies. It's the same thing with these guys. They're two drastically different people with two total different personalities and probably view on life. But when it came to collaborating for a project, it came together and made sense. You know what I mean? I feel like you guys are you're the more creative aspect of things. Perhaps who you need to work with is somebody that understands the logistics of things. There's something to that. Somebody understanding how the algorithm works, but you understand how the mastery of the idea can work. And then that person can teach you or show you or do for you that other piece, and you could come together and make sense of it. But there's something about you producing a legacy here and just being sometimes feeling pulled in two different directions of how to bring it together. You need to find an energy that balances it for you. Two of Swords is very much about balancing and tapping into other senses. Don't just go by what you see. Oh, I saw that this worked when this person did that. That's the trending thing. So let me just hop on that trend and that's it. The trend will go viral for 2 seconds if it goes viral for you at all. And then either you bring in people who know you for just that trend, right? So they're going to expect that trend from you all the time, or it just doesn't fit what you're doing. You know what I mean? This group is very much, you're somebody that does some type of maybe marketing, entertainment. There's something about that with y'all. Even if it's just working maybe in the fashion industry, something, whatever it is that you do, you're trying to venture out on your own. And there are certain methods that you can learn from. I mean, even I could tell you about the algorithm, you know what I mean? But how you apply certain things for yourself to make what you're doing work has to be unique to what you do. Sometimes you can kind of get on something that's considered a so-called trend, but you're not getting on it because it's a trend. Your intention is different. So your way of how you present yourself in it is different versus just copying what everyone else does. She has the blindfold on her eye. Don't go by what you see. Tap into hearing things on a deeper level. Tap into sensing, smelling, tasting, feeling things on a deeper level. That's going to help give you that balanced energy. In comes somebody who can also help you balance that out. Now, this person is clutching their purse. like they have to save up. You might have already been doing this. You might have been saving up for something, saving up to maybe implement these ideas. I feel like why you're going to blow people's mind is they don't know just how much you've been holding back. Okay? Like, there are some people that they underestimate you here. For you guys, I'm getting more so of the chorus. So a year is significant. There could be something you were saving up for a year, or you're planning to save something for a year, launch something in a year. It's something about that. In the part of the chorus, if I had to give you more, it's only been a year. If I had to give you more, it's only been a year. Now I got my foot in the door and I ain't going nowhere. It took a while to get me. It took a while to get you to where you are right now. And you might feel it's going to take you a little longer to get you where you want to be. But that all depends on the steps you make. Don't put a timer on yourself too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can plan for certain things and how long you may think something's going to take. Give yourself cushion room, but don't restrict yourself to it. Some things may come in faster. Some things may take just a little bit longer. Be flexible in that as much as you can be. That's important. But I feel like people's minds are going to be blown when they realize how much you've been holding back, how much you weren't sharing. So by the time whatever this is starts being implemented, as fascinating as that's going to be, if you haven't already started implementing it, maybe you already have a little following, maybe you already have something you're doing. By the time you start diving in deep to those other aspects, it's going to be like, whoa, where was you hiding all that? In this bag. Right, in this bag. That's where you were hiding it. Hiding it right there in that bag. Bottom of the deck, we have the Empress. You've been cooking this for a minute, right? You've been allowing this to ferment. You've been allowing this to grow and expand before birthing it into existence, and that's okay. Don't clench it too tight now. You know, you got to know when you have to. Sometimes, if you notice in the traditional card, there's normally like that one coin on display and the one like above their head and the two under the feet. And others, they might show like a coin being given. Sometimes you may have to give just a little bit, and be open to receive the return on that which you gave, right? Think about it. But yeah, you've been clenching something tight. You got something going on under the wraps, and it's gonna be colorful. And you might have been concerned, like, I don't know if people are gonna like this. Maybe it's too much. Maybe maybe it'll feel all over the place. Be a colorful canvas. You be as colorful as you want to be. All right. So yeah. The song, yeah, at least like the melody of it and maybe the words, yeah, like saying yeah to something, or yeah, that's what I need to do. That energy is here, as well as the let me blow your mind. Okay, you're gonna be blowing people's minds. Let's see what else we got for you, Pal 2. Ooh, answer that calling. Yes, exactly. And again, two people. They put two people on the Judgment card with this lighthouse, like the light leading them home. I'm hearing that's Coldplay. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones. Like, that's home is significant. Whether home represents like feeling home in your creative craft, maybe you're trying to do some type of retreat, some place that feels like a home away from home, but home is also significant here for you, Pal 2. And something about a light guiding you where you want to be. I think you're the light, actually. You're looking for a light to help you with your ideas, and best believe your guides are near you. They're working with you. You just got to open your ears up and hear them. You know, release some of the distractions, listen a bit more, but also you're a light. You're going to be what helps people find their passion. You could be trying to do a school, meditative retreat, whatever it is. It involves a lot of creativity or encompassing creativity. You yourself may not have what you consider to be certain, some of the talents needed that you may want. I'm almost getting an idea like a person wants to do almost like a record label, but spiritual, not in the sense of it's gospel, but like in the sense of you really care how the artists are treated. If it's an art gallery, you care that the artists feel heard, and you're trying to make sure that you don't have to adopt, again, toxic traits to get things off the ground. You want things to start as beautifully as you want them to stay constant and consistent with, right? Apply that where you need to. That's coming in specifically for somebody. For the rest of you, what would that translate to for you? Maybe it's not a label. Maybe it's not a channel. But whatever it is something that you wish to spread. viral energy. You wish to spread, no pun intended, this positivity, this light, this love. Give guidance to some people. Help them answer their calling. A part of your calling is helping others answer their calling. What did I tell you from the beginning that I heard? You have a tendency of bringing people together. You may not even realize this about yourself. Maybe you just had a eureka moment right now. This very moment, like, now that I think about it, I'm always the person that can get everybody together. I didn't think that was my title. I didn't, you know. There's definitely also something about like sounds. Sounds are like probably really important to you. Maybe when you channel, or you may not identify it as channeling, okay? But when you get certain feelings and certain sensations about something being a success or feeling good, maybe you hear songs or sounds, like sounds stand out to you. I would recommend, I don't do this a lot, this ain't sponsored, but I tell y'all to do things that I feel like it matches what's going on. And I channeled the whole Yeah story, and I channeled Q. Q was on Tank in a Jay Valentine show. Is it R&B Hustle? Something like that. It's a podcast. So just like type in Tank R&B and see what comes up, and watch his episode. Watch the episode with Q. I'm used to saying Q, but I think it's JQ. Watch it, because dude is a genius, right? But it's something about certain stories he told, or certain sensations that he said he got about when he would feel something is about to be successful, that you guys may resonate with, that could give you some type of inspiration. He has like a mentor vibe, and maybe you need just like a little sprinkle of those tips, okay? If I remember, I'll put it in the I don't know if I'll put it in the description because this is a pick-a-pile, but if I move to, I will. Light will guide you home and ignite your bones. You're going to be helping a lot of people fix their dreams. Helping a lot of people not try to fix them and trying to change them, but help them really see who they are. Get over hurdles, get over walls. Stop playing tug of war with their own soul in order to see a more divine truth. You're a light, and it's your job to bring a light. That's how you blow people's mind. They're not going to be able to fight that good shit in their ear, because you're going to be reaching something beyond just that. I did the part of the chorus that matches your situation the most. Okay. We're using the 80s oracle. Putting on a show. I'm telling you. Somebody here is like, you either trying to get an entertainment, you trying to like set up an entertainment, you trying to get a venue. Maybe you want to put like some type of psychic retreat together where you hit up people like myself or others and you say, hey, can y'all participate? Blah, 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 blah. You're really trying to do something big, but like the way you want to do it, people might be telling you that's impossible. And so you've been keeping certain aspects of it to yourself because you're like, they don't get it, right? They don't get it. They're going to be shocked when you figure this out and you start doing it. And you did it in a way that goes against what they thought. Some of them are going to have to actually apologize to you for not trusting and believing in it. Don't do it for that apologetic reason, to have people come to you and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't believe in you. Don't worry about that. But whatever you want to do, I feel like it's a lot more colorful. It might even be a lot more like, not dramatic and drama, but dramatic, like big, major. No one's done this quite this way. It's not that it's a whole new invention. It's just your way of doing it. The members of KISS are standing out to me, and how like dramatic their makeup was in their shows. I wanna rock and roll all night. Like, you know what I mean? Like that vibe. Party every day type of energy. Whatever it is you want to do, whatever joy you're trying to spread, it's a party. Like for some of you, it's a party, but it's a party that feels like home. It's a party that doesn't involve a whole lot of needing outside substance to feel good. Just everybody in the space has enough energy and enough empowerment to feel good. Maybe it's like, I don't know, psychic concert. I don't know what this is. I'm gonna be real with you. But whatever it is that somebody here is trying to do, it's major, and it can be done. It can be done. Keeping what matters, like how you keep certain things close to you in secret, how you don't let everything out the bag right away. Little do they know it's more than just a bag. Little do they know, right? Right? I'm done. Look, come on. You can't make it up. And we're talking music industry. You can't make it up. For someone here, it translates like that, using your talents. Also, helping those of us that maybe we're multi-talented. We sing, we act, we do readings, whatever. And being like, you know what? What if I could take all y'all and put all your talents on display in this one place? I'm not trying to give out your whole blueprint, because here's the thing, right? Even what I'm allowed to say right now in this message, you're not the first to think of doing this. Let's get that out the bag right now. You're not the first to think of doing this. It's the way you're thinking of doing it. And regardless of how many people, whether it's because they watched this before, regardless of how many people try to do this idea, the ones, because I'm not even going to just minimize this to you. This is a collective reading. But somebody here is hitting you really like, whoa, right? The ones who are going to pull this off are meant to, because the way they want to do it is unique and original to them. And that cannot be duplicated, replicated, mimicked in any capacity. If anything, you'll just find yourselves being led to each other to collaborate on the idea even more. Much like how many festivals that go on in the summer for concerts, right? How many? Infinite amount, right? You think Coachella's the only Coachella? No. There are a bunch of, in fact, Coachella's late because there's a bunch of other places around the world that were already doing that, right? Or that same kind of hippie-ish vibe, already doing it, right? But what they do now is they go, okay, well, let's bring in international people. Let's have Blackpink come through. K-pop was mentioned in that podcast I'm talking about. Again, somebody here might need to go watch that. But it was like, let's include Blackpink. Let's have 2NE1 come through. Classic group right there. In that song, the word classic comes out, the Let Me Blow Your Mind. Classic. This one, classic. It all comes together. Sometimes you'll notice that some of these festivals, not necessarily something like Coachella, but some of these festivals will look at each other and be like, I mean, why not collab? Why not do that? Why not set up a bigger event, something huger, in a more accessible location, and let everybody have a good time? See what I'm saying? You might have to start where you are, but as it expands, you're going to run into like-minded souls. So nobody can steal your idea. The core of this idea is not just original to you alone. It's the way you want to go about it. And nobody can take away from you the way that you want to go about it. So those things you've been keeping to yourself, rightfully so. Utilize your talents and your resources. As you do this, you're the kind of person that's bringing in new people. You know what else is going to separate you from a lot of them other mugs that try to do this? You will actually care about your clients. You will actually care about how they're treated, how they receive their information. And that's different than how some people are. We've all come across some, people, whether it be through channels or otherwise, where they kind of talk to people flip like that's okay. Again, you got to match people's energy where it is, right? So somebody sometimes might need you to kind of give them a kick in the ass. That's just reality. But that ain't for everybody, obviously. And while we can say, hey, that group has their own, people, they'll talk to everybody that way. Like, you'll see it. They'll talk to everybody that way. And it's just you're not meant to talk to everyone that way. You're different because you're going to put people and connect people to where they make sense. This is what you want to do, and the people you were working with before didn't believe you, didn't understand the vision. Okay, let me connect you to this person over here. Oh, this is what you're trying to do with your whatever. Okay, let me hook you up with so and so. You're bringing people together. You're kind of like a continuation a little bit to Power One a little bit here. That's not for everybody, but if you felt moved to look into that pile, I recommend that you do. I think you guys are like connected somewhere, somehow. There's also something about numbers following, like when it comes to numerology for y'all, there's something about numbers following a certain sequence. Like let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, 5. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something about when numbers appear, even if it's in sets of 2, even if it's in reverse, it might be 4, 3. But it's like these are numbers that are close together because they're knitted. That's the vibe I'm getting. That's what I'm channeling. They're knitted together. We're going to get into this deck by Mystic Star Magic. If you get a chance to check out her channel, comment what's resonating with you. Clear sailing. Come on. Come on. Smooth waters. You got this. You got this. What you want to do isn't a pipe dream, babes. Someone like me fully supports this. This is not a pipe dream, okay? We have take flight. Clear sailing is like the equivalent of saying clear skies, okay? Take flight. Go ahead on and fly. Go ahead on and jump. Take the leap. Be as colorful as you want to be. Go ahead on and spread that love that you're trying to spread, okay? You'll know when there are certain situations that you might need to adapt to or change, or you know what I mean? What did I say earlier? You might be the person that has ooh, I got the idea. It's brilliant. I just don't know how to necessarily maybe go about it. And it's like you come across that person that goes, oh, I understand that part. I get your vision. I get what you're trying to do. That's out of the box. That's out of pocket. Whoa, that's out there. Here's how we can introduce it. Much like how when a songwriter or a producer or a singer is given okay, listen, I myself have been in a situation where you're given a song and you don't fucking like it. It's like, I don't like this. I don't want to do it, right? Cool. Some people will understand why you don't want to do it because it's just not your vibe. Others will try to force you, try to make you adapt to it. That's not what this situation is. If somebody's trying to force you to do something in a way that it just does not feel right, then it's not for you. It don't matter if they do it with someone else and they're successful. It's not for you. But then in comes the person who's like, I get exactly how your mind works. I get exactly how, universal or eclectic your sound may be. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take that idea of yours and we're going to see how do we present it. I don't even want to use the word package, but how do we present it in a way that when you do it for people, they can absorb it? And you get to be in that energy that feels good. This is what I feel like happened with groups like 2NE1. They were a bit of everything. Y'all on the BTS vibe, but I go back all the way to the 90s when it comes to K-pop. Somebody here, you get what I'm saying. It's different over there. Music can change in the course of one song, and it's like it's 8 different songs in one song, but it makes sense. What you want to do is something similar to that. It could be like a convention, right? And at this convention, there's several different types of talents and personalities, but like I do, they gradient together. Everything I do is gradient together. And so I'm somebody you could talk to, and I would get what you mean when you say gradient together. What you're looking for, or rather what's on its way to you, is a person that can not only get what you're saying, but tell you how to implement it, how to adapt it to what it is it needs to be in order to work. That's some powerful, listen, let's, I was trying to make, every time I try to make these short, like I got things to do. Let me just do this quick. There are messages that come through that are like, we can't be quick. We got to take our time. So that taking time here is also significant. Taking time but not being restricted is significant here. Be sure to be the last guest at the cannibals dinner party. Bro. Embrace your limitations to become a wonderful disaster. Waiting for inspiration is just waiting, bro. There's a difference between patience and allowing yourself to progress and just waiting around because you don't know what to do or you're confused and you think that, well, if I just sit here, it'll just come to me. No, you do still need to do things. I say this about, I'm very much getting, especially with this take flight energy, 3 of Wands. How many times do I tell you guys the Three of Wands, it can be patience, but by no means is it sitting still. You had to walk to get to the cliff just to see that the ships were coming in. That's motion, that's movement, that's taking an action. Then you got to go down by the docks to actually either get on the ship yourself to be taken where you have to go, or to receive that which is coming in towards you. Now, granted, them ships might be 20 minutes out. That's the patient part of it. But by no means are you just waiting around on nothing, because you actually see what's already coming in. That's kind of what this is. Well, there's clear sailing. So these blessings, this idea, whatever this is you're doing, it's coming in with no halt. Are you ready for it though? Like, that's the question. Are you open? That's the question, right? There's people who want to pick at what you're doing. They because they don't get it. They don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to them. Or they just don't want you to be successful at it. You don't need to participate in whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gotta, if you the last one at the cannibal party, you the only one that didn't get eaten alive. You understand? Like, because you're not participating in the foolery and the fuckery of it all. It's like, I'm not even gonna go that route. I'm not gonna be bacterial like that and just be spreading something toxic or talking rumors or whatever. I'm on my business. I'm telling y'all, if you resonated to watch Power One, I keep being moved to say it. So if you were second guessing it, oh, it's too long. Amen. I can only tell you what channels. This embracing your limitations. When you embrace a limitation, sometimes, this translates different to people. The way it's channeling here is, when you embrace something that you cannot do, you actually learn to expand yourself, because you realize, if I can't do this part, right, and I need to adapt, who can I tally this off to? Like, let's say somebody needs a customer service rep because they're kind of suck at customer service. Not that you're not nice to people, it's just that you're just not good at customer service. So you give that position to someone else. In doing so, you learn that you're better at managing. You may not be better at picking up the phone and talking to the person directly, but you're good at managing the space. That's something you can expand upon. So in truth, this is one of the reasons why it's like you're limitless. The only limitation you truly have is the ones that you choose to keep as a limitation. But when you realize, oh wait, I may not know how to do that thing, but either A, I can learn, or B, I can get someone that already knows to do it, and then I can focus on another area that I'm greater at. I lose nothing. You know what I mean? When people think of limitations, they think of things that they may lose. Just the fact that they're not good. You can either learn to be good or pass the job to someone who is, and then you expand in another area. That's why companies have multiple positions to them. So especially if you're working on some type of event, you're going to need other people. You can't do it all. I'm the director, the manager, the planner, the this, that, and the third. You might try. It's only going to take you longer to get to where you're trying to go. This is powerful energy here, right? Some people are going to think that you're failing when they, that's why you got some stuff under the wrap. Some people are going to think you're failing when you're not producing certain content fast enough. You're not, you know what I mean? You're not failing. That's not what's happening. You're just this beautiful disaster, because when they look at you, they're going to try and figure out, how did you make that so-called mess work? How many people look at a colorful canvas of art and think, oh, it's just messy? Why did they? That's not color theory. Why is there just splatter all over? Hey, look, what splattered to one person is a multi-million-dollar masterpiece to somebody else. I ain't saying nothing else, because you get where that's going, right? You're a light. You're here to wake some people up. And you might have to dive a bit into your shadow to do it. And look who came out. I'm purposefully not going to say anything, because this same card came out in Power One. So this is your confirmation to go back and watch Power One. So I'm purposefully not going to say anything. And since they're allowing me to not say anything, I'm going to just sit that right there. I will also say too that these are two vibrations that give off a bit of like accepting your shadow side, if you would. Tapping a little bit into that. Just a little bit of that edge. You know what I mean? Add a little bit of that edge to what you're doing here. Destiny is knocking. I will say that. Destiny is knocking. Are you listening? It's not that I'm talking fast. It's just that some of you might be listening slow. We just talked about that too. So somebody might talk the way I said, because that song came in, and that example of him breaking down, saying that parts of the song was too fast, not everybody could catch it, and having to have those moments of slowing it down. Like it was slowed down, but still rhythmic enough to just like, ooh, that's catchy. Oh, wait a minute, that's dope. Somebody's energy is like that. Not the lyrics per se, but the instrumental, the harmony. You're like the harmony of the song. We have grounded. Many of the most evolved beings on earth are regular folks living with joy, dignity, and courage. You ain't gotta look like everybody else. You don't have to come in the room and seem. I'm pretty sure that this artist looked like everybody else for a second. Maybe not look like everybody else, but for all purposes, if you passed the original artist on the street, you probably wouldn't have thought much. You wouldn't have been thinking, that man right there is gonna go off and be an international artist, really super successful in Europe, blah blah blah. He's gonna live a long, pretty decent long life, and then one day he's gonna croak due to like a bacterial virus. You wouldn't think these things off the surface about this person, but then you'll go to a place where their art is displayed or whatever and be like, oh my gosh, this is a stroke of genius. You may not look like what people would think a person is about to have, the type of success you're about to have is supposed to look like. But see, that's another shift that we're going through, where who cares? Like, we've been through this shift so many times over so many centuries, but we're at this point where honestly people just don't give a shit anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are going to be those who want to troll and why is so dressed that way, who goes on stage barefoot. I remember when I was growing up in the 90s, there were plenty of artists that used to go on stage barefoot. That was like a thing. It was a thing. Especially like the singers with the biggest voice, right? My parents grew up on singers like that. I grew up on my mother's music as well. People back, with the biggest voice take their shoes off, especially the women, take their shoes off, be right on stage and have the most powerhouse vocal out of everybody. And then there are those who, in order to feel good, maybe they need to dress up a bit more for it. Do what fits you. Don't worry about how it looks to everybody else. Okay? But do what fits you. I'm very much getting, and rest her soul, she just went on, I'm getting like a Tina vibe. When Tina came back out, that's not the kind of music anybody would have expected her to do. Rock and roll? What? But those of us who listen to her voice, we're like, how do you not hear? How do you not hear the soul, the rock, the roll? Like, how? You know what I mean? What did you think? What? We're confused as to how you thought you could limit that vocal to one thing, period. Especially after River Deep, Mountain High. Have you ever had to sing that song? Bruh. You know what I mean? So don't let people box you in. Don't feel stuck. You're not stuck. You can be grounded, but you're not stuck. And don't sit around waiting for someone to just say, here's all the keys and all the tools to every little thing you need ever. No, you got to get up and you got to do something so that those energies can naturally come towards you. I'm done. Liberation. The doubts, the fears still come up. You don't believe anymore that they're you. You don't identify with doubts and fears anymore. You become more grounded, and in becoming more grounded, you become more free. Clear skies, take flight. Pow 2, aka part 2 to Pow 1. For some of you, I'm going to say less now. You know what you got to do. Peace, love, and light, beautiful soul. Pow 3, welcome. This is your channeled message. Let's get your dice. Okay. Get your numbers first. Be sure to like, comment, and of course subscribe. What your takeaways are in the comment section. It can help someone else. It's also nice interacting with y'all. Let's get your numbers. Wow. You got 3 and you got 5. Interesting. So 35 or 53 could be of significance. You can add them up, take them down to a single digit. Could be a life path number for you, or contribute to your message in a deeper way, right? You have, don't fear pain. Art is an anesthetic. Be a little bit mindful with numbing yourself to certain things. Don't fear the pain, but be mindful to numbing yourself to the point that like you kind of disregard stuff that you should pay attention to. But I am feeling that someone needs to release pain, and also you need to release feeling like you have to kind of almost cut yourself up to fit someone else's molding of perfection. You don't have to take a little bit of this person's face or energy or appearance to make up what'll make you great. There's something already unique within you, and that's going to inspire others to want a little bit of a piece of you. So be mindful of also how much you give yourself to others here. But don't fear the pain. Like, don't fear the pain of experience. Things will happen. Things will come and go. Take the lesson from it, and that is the blessing, and expand upon that blessing. Don't make yourself be numb to things that you don't have experiences, and then you don't really live. Living is important for you, Pal 3. Do you like who you are? Do you like who you see in your petri dish? Wow. That's coming out kind of deep for y'all here. Do you like who you see when you really look deep within yourself? When you pull out and you remove all of the other stuff that could be in the way, all the decoration, all of that. Get down to the bare essentials of who you are, your personality, the core of your existence. Do you like what you see there? Do you even know who you are, is what I'm hearing. Some of you need to get in tune with who you are and stop validating that through other people or other people's perceptions of it. All right. I mean, even when it comes down to people arguing titles, because a lot of times the same people arguing, I don't like titles, is the first person to try to implement titles upon people. Think about it. It'll click where it needs to click, right? But when you remove all of that from yourself, outside of what everyone else is saying, what do you see? Get in tune with that. You might find that it is a multi-diverse, multifaceted energy that as you get to know it, it's going to want to express itself in many different ways. And some of those expressions will be trial and error. Okay, I thought I liked this because this is what seemed to be the translation of that. And then you'll figure out, well, not quite. And you'll move on to something bigger. Don't be ruled by that outside perception. Okay, tap within. On top of that, don't run from the pain to the point that you numb yourself, especially when it comes to numbing yourself in some type of creative and, aesthetic, to the part that now, art is your anesthesia. It's how you can sort of almost like go under a knife of judgment. That's what I'm seeing here. It's a very deep energy for y'all. Some of the stuff I'm seeing here is dark and might be a bit triggering for you, but there is light here. You just have to allow yourself to see it and understand that even in the darkness, there's light. You tend to be that light in your own darkness. Darkness itself is simply another form of light that your eyes are trying to translate. So allow yourself to sort of explore those sides, but not fall over the edge when it comes to certain things. I feel like those of you who need to understand it, you'll understand it, because this is how I'm channeling it. I can't change the wording of it. This is how it's translating, okay? Become your paradigm. You are the shift. You don't have to wait on anyone else to be the shift, because you are the shift. That's what's going to blow. That's what is blowing people's minds, because some of you have already started this process. It's a deep cleanse and a deep healing for yourself. You're no longer, trying to fit someone else's molding. At first, it was just inspiration. You probably did take a little bit from each person, not a stealing thing. But you know how we can all say we're inspired, right? There's a style that's all our own. And then there are the people that we watch and we are like, oh, I love what this person wore. My take on it would be, I love this color. My plot twist on it is, and that's fine. There would be no existence if people weren't inspired by people and able to sample what they're inspired by. Literally all things would just not exist. All forms of art would just cease, okay? But There's something within us that's our own individual makeup. It's our own originality that no matter what may help to inspire bringing it out, once it's out, no one else can identify that but us, by us, right? Some of you are in that process. You're coming to this understanding. It was confusing at first. You might have been confused with a lot of things. Now stuff is starting to fall into place and it's starting to make sense. And that's a beautiful experience for you. But you did kind of have to go through some harsh shit to get to that point. For others, you're in that mid section. And this is why it's good to comment like your takeaways and to act, because you don't know, you might say something and another person who felt stuck still hears how you interpret it and goes, wow, that's where I was. That's what, oh, it clicks for me now. This could be the position. I don't think you guys want this position, you know, unlike the other piles where maybe there's like this, you're meant to be the, you know, in the forefront. I think some of you like the background. I'm back here. I'm going through all these shifts and changes back here. But spirit at times will put you in situations where your story, your experience is an inspiration to another. And you'll start to realize how much the original you is so beautiful that you don't need to change it. This isn't coming down on people who like, oh, you know, I feel like I got a crooked toe and I want to fix it. Okay, whatever. But some people really do feel that sometimes in order to be perfection, in order to be beautiful, they have to literally sample someone else's face. Like, let me borrow so-and-so's chin. Let me have, you know, for this person, whatever they did was for them. That was the thing that they believed was going to make them happy, and possibly did. But for this group, that's not the case. If you were to take that same route, you would look in the mirror and not recognize who you see and would be upset at yourself for it. For some of you, it's not so much physical, it's spiritual. It's mental for a lot of y'all. It's like taking certain like mental concepts and sort of getting lost in them because they seem like, but this seems like what everyone is doing and what will make sense. You can't get caught up in that. Be inspired. Wonderful. You can even sample what you're inspired by. Beautiful. But don't be a carbon copy of. You're not going to be satisfied. That's only going to make you miserable. What's going to blow people's mind, and what is blowing people's mind, is how much you're progressing out of that follow the leader energy that some of you had, or that I have to be like so-and-so energy. You get what I'm talking about if this was you. I'm only going to the gym because they say all people my age are supposed to go to the gym, or you know what I mean? I'm only into this particular craft because yeah, it looked cool, but really the people around me say that that's what you have to do to be more ladylike, or to be more of a man, or to be more of this, or to be more of that. You even got people who argue with you about what the definition of they is. Didn't want to be called either or, they wanted to be fluent, but then they came up with rules and you just don't fit that rule. And there's nothing wrong with you not fitting that rule. So be inspired, but don't copy. You don't have to copy, okay? You're going to blow people's minds by this. I feel like you're going through a really tremendous metamorphosis. And for some of you, it's been painful, right? Don't so much numb the pain, more so like allow the pain to heal through art, through your creativity, whatever that looks like for you, whatever that enjoyment is for you. When I say your creativity, it doesn't mean that you have to be some talented painter, singer, whatever, right? Especially for you, Pile 3. In your case, it can just be something creative that gives you release. It gives you joy. It makes you feel happiness. And it's not so much that you're numbing yourself to the pain, you're healing it. So that means it's dissolving. This isn't a band-aid. This isn't a temporary fix. This is the fix. You get what I'm saying? Let's move into your tarot message. For Pile 3, I feel like these topics have been a lot deeper than what they seemed they were going to be. Even with the channeling, they went a lot deeper. Especially if you hear the song and what you would think you would get on the surface. We have the Knight of Cups. I'm hearing, I knew the Hermit was going to come out. I'm hearing, what is it, Miley Cyrus? I can give myself flowers, or something like that. Draw my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours. Yeah, like, that's what I'm hearing. I'm not getting this in the sense that you're not allowing people to come in and give you love. That's not what this is. It's more like, you know, when they say, before so-and-so leaves this world, I want to give them their flowers. And because of that, people associate that saying with, let me say it to you before you're on your last breath. That's really not what that expression is about. That expression is actually about giving flowers where they're due, way ahead of time, for anything that this person is doing that you think is of tremendous value. Are you giving yourself those flowers? Like, when you get over a hurdle, even if it seems small, do you take time? Somebody here does. Somebody buys flowers when they feel like they had a little moment, like, yay, but you're not necessarily giving them to yourself. In other words, you'll buy them because you feel great and you can put them in your space and they'll make your space pretty. But you're not literally saying, I'm buying myself these flowers. I'm going to give myself these flowers because that was a lot for me to reach that goal, to reach this safe space in my mental right now. That took a lot. So I'm going to give myself these flowers. And when I look at these flowers, it's going to remind me of how I'm transitioning into better and better energy. And I'm going to tell you how you keep the positive view on this, because if you're taking care of a plant, for example, some of you are plant lovers, right? The plants respond to the energy of the space as well as your individual energy. That's why when people are going through hard shit, plants, they fight hard to stay alive because they're absorbing that energy. In a way, they're trying to heal you from it. That's what plants and trees do. They heal things. So they tend to absorb it. And typically, if it's a tree or if it's something outside, it's so deeply rooted and connected to nature that the job is easier. Right? But when it's a plant that has to live in a pot, it has to live inside, it has to go through the transition of being taken out of one pot and put in a bigger pot, the fight can be just a little bit harder. Not impossible, obviously, but a little bit harder. In your case, say you buy yourself flowers and you think, I'm going to project this positive view. You can tend to be morbid sometimes. So that means when the plant starts to die, your brain goes, there's my success dying. No, that's one version of your success transitioning into another. Because when you bought those cut roses, or those cut, whatever your plant was, you know, could have been lilies, could have been daisies. When you bought those, they were already cut. You didn't plan on rerouting them. You bought them for the moment, to enjoy for the moment, because it was a moment of, I want to buy myself flowers, right? So you knew at some point they're going to dry out. Now, some people will take that and make potpourri, right? But in your case, sometimes some of you can be a bit morbid. And you'll think of it as a depressing energy. So you might find yourself trying to throw those flowers away before they can even fully transition out. Change that mentality. You will change your entire life. My success isn't dying. That thing I was happy about isn't leaving me. Or it is simply transitioning into something else. It's becoming something better. So this version of it, this version of maybe my mentality towards something is dying. Maybe, you know, the way I went about something has changed in order for me to grow and expand. Just like if you plant flowers, you know what I'm talking about when I say sometimes you got to change them out of that pot. The old pot is too small. They need room to grow. So you put them in a bigger pot. And you may have to care for them differently than you did before. Right? Don't be afraid. Like, a part of you numbing yourself to pain is being afraid of transition. Do not be afraid to transition into the next step, and don't be afraid to give yourself, figuratively speaking for some of you, your flowers, your own moment of, haha, I did that. That was great. That was a beautiful thing I did. The flowers aren't just meant to be put on a grave, and flowers aren't just meant to be given to somebody going through a grave energy. You don't need to associate it to that. Your outlook needs to be, I won't even just say brighter. Your outlook needs to be truer. Okay? The Knight of Cups sometimes looks in their cup and they're looking at it like, I don't know if this is enough for where I'm trying to take it. Is it too full? Is it too little? They question. And then they kind of get lost in the daydream and the romancing of what they question. But you're a little bit different. You kind of sometimes will go, for some of you, a darker route. And you're actually being told, be more creative and imaginative of where you're going and where you are. The knights are always in motion. They're always already on the journey. Whether it be the start point, the midpoint, or near the end. They're always on the journey. And the Knight of Cups doesn't always have to just be the playboy. The Knight of Cups doesn't have to be the person that just comes in and fills you with romantic daydreams that'll never come true. Many a time, they're the person who's actually telling you things that are quite possible, or they represent an energy in yourself that says all of this is, nothing's impossible, right? But you don't believe it. You think it's just words. You think it's just whatever, right? You think it's just words when you're morbid with yourself. But if you were to look at your life, some morbid ass results tend to come out of that frame of thinking. You're being told to lighten that load up. Don't depend on other people to have to give you the praise. It's beautiful when they do. And when they're genuine, accept it. Even when they're full of shit, accept that it was a praise. You know what I'm saying? That's their loss if they didn't mean it. That has nothing to do with you. But get used to complimenting yourself. I can give myself flowers. I can write my own name in the sand. Not because I'm lonely and depressed and, oh, I just don't need a man or a woman, but because I deserve it. I just deserve it. And that's all. And leave it at that. Okay? You've been through so many obstacles. So like literally I'm seeing like an obstacle course. And it almost looks like a maze. And you would get lost. And you would find your way. And then you get lost. And you find your way again. But you are literally close to grabbing hold. I mean, honestly, what you're trying to grab hold of, that thing, that thing, you know what it is for you. It's already in the palm of your hand. You're just not allowing yourself to realize that you already have it. Look at this person. Everybody else, all these other, think of this as different phases of you, right? The different phases that think I'm still struggling. I still don't know what to do. What's happening to me right now? Okay, I'm going through this change and this transition. I'm doing good, but this is the you that's like, I already got it. I don't need to fight for it. I already have it. No one can take it from me. I already have it. So what starts to happen when you change that mentality is all these other parts that wanted to challenge your greatness, these words of doubts and fears, become words of encouragement, become words of success and succession. And so what was once a challenge begins to become a working together collaborative effort. I tell y'all all the time, 5 of Wands isn't just about people arguing and fighting. Sometimes it's people trying to figure out what to do. And it's just a little hard because everybody has a different take. These are different versions of yourself in this scenario. So it's different versions of yourself trying to figure out how is that thing that we're dreaming about. Okay, now we realize we have the Holy Grail. That this cup is actually like sacred. We get to drink a little bit of it, which can sometimes be the Knight of Cups filling himself, drinking of himself a little too much. Or we can offer it. We can offer it to someone. You know, it can be to the person ahead of us. We can pass the torch, or if necessary, funny because that's a torch right there, right? But how? Because we all got different ideas. Maybe there's different parts of yourself that has different ideas to how it thinks something needs to be done. When you remove a lot of these doubts and fears and this numbing of self, and you allow yourself to heal instead of just numb, oh, now all of these sides can speak their experience more freely and they can come together. You might, Pal 3, with no disrespect, you might be in some form of therapy. You might be in some form of spiritual therapy. You might be someone who's booked a soul session with me, or you felt moved to. Whatever the case is, your situation is a little bit heavier than the norm. However, you need to see the achievements you've made thus far. And I'm promising you, give yourself that moment. It's your choice to do it. It's your responsibility and choice to do it. I can't do it for you or take it from you. But when you allow yourself to realize you can learn from yourself, that's when you realize, oh shit, that thing I've been striving for is already in my hand. And if you've been striving for something false, you'll let it go without any hesitation whatsoever. Okay? But all of that wisdom, all of that light is sitting already within you. You're already at a high vantage point to look out as you reflect, to look out and see all of the practical ways that these pieces fall into place for you. That's brilliant. There's brilliance there. Okay? So when you remove all the other stuff out the way and you look in that dish that makes up the energy that you want to project to the world, that makes up that cup that you want people to possibly sip of, Do you like what you see? And if not, why? It's not about you questioning why all day. It's about getting that one answer, those maybe two answers. What are the solutions to that feeling? And then focusing on that. It's very your energy here is very therapeutic. And what'll blow people's mind is, I mean, it's already happening. They look at the progression you make and they don't recognize you from who you were a month ago, a year ago, 5, 10 years ago. They don't recognize you. But as you continue on this path, they'll continue to not recognize you. And in this case, it's damn good that they don't. Okay? Some of you are getting over addictions. Some of you are getting over, I had to do this to fit in. I had to troll. Oh yeah, we pick up on everything around here. Some of y'all was some of them people on the internet trolling for dumb shit just because I'm mad at something and I gotta get it off my chest and blah blah blah, and that it's not cute, right? And then you start realizing that that's energy. It takes energy to troll people. It takes energy to project something bad out just because you feel bad about yourself, least of all if it's been done to you and you've just accepted what that person is saying or doing. Once you realize that and you start changing, it goes, oh shit, a lot of stuff cleared up in my life because I'm no longer putting a gavel down on myself. I'm no longer cutting my own hand off anymore. That's what's happening here for a lot of you. Yours is like probably the most emotional out of everybody's, out of all of the piles. But if you did resonate to check out one of the other ones, I can see why a little bit. However, I do feel like you're a standalone out there. I don't feel like many of you can peek at the others and you can definitely get something. I always tell you, listen to your intuition. I'm not going to chokehold you. You know what I mean? If it was like, hey, this is your pile and only choose this, because that's what I would tell you, but I wouldn't chokehold you to it. You know what I mean? There's always a reason that you're moved to peak somewhere else. It's your job to understand that reasoning. Are you feeling moved to check the other piles because this got heavy and you're kind of running from it? Are you feeling moved to check the other piles because you're looking for a yes to something that you just needed to hear a no to? What are your reasons? If it's really just because you're like, something in my spirit, something in me is telling me that there's something I can get from that, then by all means, right? Just know your reason. Don't deny yourself the knowing of your reason. Okay? It took a while to get you here. So take your time. Take your time balancing this energy out. Take your time meditating and weighing the things before you and seeing what, okay, this works for me a little bit more than that. Took a while to get me here, so I'm going to take my time. Don't fight that good shit in your ear. Let me blow your mind. Don't fight. Don't fight this. Don't. That's what I'm hearing. There might be somebody that loves you deeply and they say that to you, like, don't fight this. Don't fight this connection. Don't fight this expansion. Stop acting like you don't deserve this love. Stop acting like you don't deserve this praise. You can give yourself flowers and you can also receive these flowers. There are some people who are so, I'm not done yet though. There's so much life I want to live, that when people try to give them their flowers, they fight it. Nah, because see, I still got things I want to do. That's not what giving flowers is about. It's gratefulness, it's gratitude. And quite frankly, don't knock somebody else's blessing like that when it's coming from a genuine place. Every time you show gratitude, and every time gratitude is showed to you, every time somebody is like, I'm just happy you're here. I tell people I love all the time, thank you for existing. Thank you for breathing. Oh, you woke up today. Look at that. That because there is something you're contributing to this world in each breath that you take that somebody else can't do, babe. Nobody else can do that the way that you're doing that. Even when you do nothing, either this world is lacking something, or if you felt the need to be still, sometimes that stillness was the peace that your environment needed. You contribute more than you realize you do. That's not to make shit heavy on you. That's just for you to understand your importance here. Right? And there's somebody in your life or coming in your life that's going to say the same thing. Maybe different words, but the same thing. And you get to take your time with that, and you get to sit in that energy for a minute. Instead of kind of feeling like I got to resist it. I can just do it myself. Calm it down. Right now, some of you might feel the need to go buy a plant. Go do it. But when you buy it, set that intention of, I'm doing this for myself because I deserve it. You can apply why you deserve it to whatever you want. I woke up today, so I got myself this plant. I'm going to take care of this plant as a way to teach myself to take better care of myself. Okay. You know what I mean? But be serious about it, right? And when someone else comes in, they give you that grace. That's them expanding their grace to you in honor of your own grace. So don't just slap their hand away because, oh, the depression was heavy that day. Depression doesn't have to win. Depression doesn't even have to exist within you. It is a curable, healable thing only if you allow yourself. It doesn't mean you may not struggle with it from time to time, but if you allow it, you balance yourself out. You change certain things in your mentality and in your energy, and it all starts to work out for the better. And you can apply this to anything. I don't care if it's business, relationships, whatever. Okay? In conjunction to whatever other help you might already be seeking. Listen to your instincts, listen to your intuition, separated from opinion, which could be tied to old toxic past experiences that didn't get you nowhere. But you have to be the person to decide to do it. You can take your time though. Ain't nobody got to rush you. Just remember that, because some people sometimes might put that pressure, or you might feel that they're putting that pressure on you, like, be fixed now, be healed now. You ain't got to do that. Take your time. Make progress in taking that time. I'm going to say that again. Make progress in taking that time. It took a while to get you just to this point. Just to this point. You see what I'm saying? 5 of Cups. You're not really as alone as you think you are. You can join the others that you're looking at if their energy aligns with where you need to be in your destiny. You don't need to try and fit in with people or be a made up version. And again, it's not about this particular person, because these cards are about like actual people. It's not about this particular person per se, but she had a certain idea of what she thought beauty was, or what they thought beauty was. I don't know what I think their pronouns are she. And they begin, because they're very big on divine feminine energy. They changed themselves to fit that, what they thought was that. They're quite happy, as far as I know, with what they've done. I don't remember too much about this person. I remember hearing about them back in the day. But I'm getting a different energy for y'all. I'm getting more so that what's going to make you happy is tapping into your own perspectives and concepts of that, instead of just thinking, I need like Mona Lisa's chin. No, you don't. You really don't. Like, you don't. And I don't think this because some of you want to go under the knife literally. It's more of a mental thing. It's more of a style thing. And sometimes some of you would get angry with yourself because of that if it wasn't people were trolling you, you turned into a troll. You might have been some of them same people hopping up on social media, finding shit to argue about for no reason. Just, so-and-so said something I don't like. Let me argue it. Let me nitpick at it. And then that left you standing there alone many a time. And then that became justification for your negative feeling. See, everybody leaves me alone. See, I'm out here by myself. No, you did that. But the same way you did that, it's the same way you can fix it. You fixing it. No one else, you. And then people come in and give that support. You've been through enough different phases in your life to be that person who is the collaboration of the healed energy of those phases. Okay? You get to balance it out. You get to get it in order. We're going to go to the I love that 80s. I love the 80s tarot. Not tarot. Oracle. You have a bright future. So bright, others is going to blow their minds because they have to wear shades. That doesn't mean you get to wear shades to your own light. I said what I said. Okay? Look at that. What I tell you, the night doesn't always have to be about just a daydream. I'm not tuned in. I'm tapped out. You can tune into reality through that imaginative creation right there. Through that I have a goal, and it might be a goal that seems impossible to everybody else, especially if they're basing that goal on your past experience. Oh, so-and-so used to just drink and go to parties all the time. Such and such was a troll. Whatever it was. For some of you, oh, so-and-so was too quiet. They're shy. They're timid. Blah, 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 blah. You get to turn that bright future into reality because you're tuning in. You're tapped in. I'm hearing that tap, tap, tap in. You're tapped in. The divine has tapped you in. You may have not wanted it, but it was like, hey, this was a tag team match this whole time. Your turn. Your turn. We have keeping what matters. Keeping the aspects of self that matters, evolving all other avenues of it. We're going to go to Mystic Star Magic's Oracle. I'll link her shop and her channel in the description. Float. So much in your life you just found yourself trying to stay afloat. Now you don't have to try. Baby, you ain't got to try. You're already floating. You just need to allow yourself to realize it. I really feel like your reading, not that everybody's didn't do this to some extent, but I feel like your reading is not just about you blowing the mind of others, but your own mind. like actually blinking and realizing, oh, wait, I am the shit. Wow. You know what I'm saying? The fall wasn't the end. The fall was just the beginning, because you really weren't falling. You were floating the whole time. You just didn't know it. Okay. I also feel like something significant happened around Halloween. Something significant may happen around Halloween again. If it was bad last Halloween, it's going to be good this Halloween. If it was good last Halloween, it's going to be better this Halloween. But it's something about that October, end of October. Again, I kind of get the feeling y'all a little gothy. Y'all kind of giving me like Scorpio vibes, to be honest. Like a little edgy, a little gothy, a little dark, you know, but a good heart. You know what I mean? You probably like vampires or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But not like in a... I mean, if you like biting people and they allow you to do it, that's your prerogative. You know what I'm saying? But like, you could be a nibbler when it comes to intimate experiences. That's your thing. You like nibbling on shit, looking kind of gothy while doing it. It's just that I think for a long time you kept associating maybe that aesthetic with like, I have to be depressed. That's the only way to be this, is to be depressed. And that's just not true. It's not true. You don't have to be depressed to be gothy at all. Trust me, from personal experience, you don't have to be. So there's something about your shadow, it's taking form in a different way than what it would for most people. And I think that's another thing that might shock people. Is like, oh my God, such and such is wearing bright colors for the first time in decades or something like that. You know? Yeah, you're kind of giving me Scorpio vibes here with this energy. Everything will be made clear as it should be made clear, as long as you allow yourself to see it clearly. I know you expect me to add more to that, but I'm not. I think that was perfect. I said that perfectly, if I do say so myself. Let's close off your reading. Oh, Billie Holiday. Oh my gosh. Wow. Holiday. Holidays are significant. Halloween is significant to somebody in this pile, or holidays in general, like festivities. You might like them even if you don't always show it. But there's something about October that could be the Scorpio energy. And again, I was picking up on Halloween, so that could still be a thing, like Day of the Dead. Something about getting used to transitioning over and not viewing it in a morbid sense. Maybe, you know, again, these readings can be triggering sometimes, right? Maybe you lost somebody and you had to get used to that version of a transition as well. Whatever this is, the future is brighter. The fall was actually you floating. You just didn't realize it. Okay. And in that, clarity will come. Also, you could be seeing ladybugs as a sign. And now we have Billie Holiday, and Billie Holiday's in the same exact colors as the ladybug. This is significant. Red and black can represent the root chakra. You're moving out of survival mode into thriving. You lived a huge portion of your life in survival mode. Now you're about to thrive. Another reason to give yourself flowers. Another reason to give yourself praise, okay? If you are going to play with your whole soul, babes. Your whole soul. You're going to play this game of life. Play the whole game. Stop half-assing it. Play the whole thing. You're a masterpiece. Flaunt that masterpiece. Maybe flaunt isn't the right word, but you get what I'm trying to say. You're not slow. You get what I'm saying to you, okay? You have no understudy. Enough said. I ain't got to continue that. Sometimes losing beats winning. Why? Because losing isn't really a loss. Losing is a lesson. And then the lesson is the blessing. You never actually fell. I'm not like trying to put you in some overly positive carriage, clearly from the way this reading has gone. But a lot of times people think failure and falling are exactly that. Like, oh, I fell down. I'm hearing that song, one of my mother's favorite songs. We fall down, but we get up. For a saint is just a sinner who fell down and got up. Like, you get back up. But the only reason you can get back up is because that damn fall wasn't as bad as you thought it was. Or even if it wasn't enough to break you. So you get up. And every time you get up, you are reborn. You're something new, something different. While still being the core essence of who you are, you evolve to these different, it's like Pokemon, man. It's like, I'm running out of comparisons. It's like Pokemon. They go through evolutions, you know, Charizard and Charmander, like they go through different phases, but the core of them may very much stay intact and the same. Allow yourself to go through that. You ain't got no understudy. You don't need one, first of all, okay? And while sometimes you felt like you lost on some big ish that maybe even made you bitter, I guarantee if you would have thought you had the one, you'd be miserable in whatever that win is, because it would have been fake as shit. So it wouldn't have really been a win. In this case, it's like the words are reversed. The failure isn't really a failure, it's a transition. The fall wasn't really a fall, it was a float. So many times you were trying to struggle to stay afloat. It's kind of like, you know, when people say when you're in the water, if you just relax, you're that person that was like, I'm drowning. Oh my God. You're not. Just stop wailing around. And like that little boy in that viral video, you'll see that you'll be standing up on 2 feet like, oh shit, it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. Okay? You're further than you were, but you can go so much further than where you are. I'm also hearing, I haven't heard it in a minute. Holiday. If we took a holiday. That's Madonna. Okay, we have when in oh my God, bro, when in doubt, swim to new ground, jam with others, but remain the lead, because you know you don't have any understudies. Redream past life. I don't need to say nothing else. In this case, your past life, some of what you've been through was probably a result of struggling in a past life. However, in this case, past life it's speaking to your current one and all the different transitions it's went through, because like I said, every time it did, you were something different. You just didn't know it. It wasn't just, oh, I went from being a kid to a toddler, da da da. It was like what I was last year, who I was last year. Yeah, that me, dead, gone. This is the new me. You might have had a near-death experience. I would not be shocked. This is how these energies are coming through. But it's a new dawn. It's a new day. And you need to start feeling good. And remember, October is significant for some of you guys. Especially those who might really celebrate like Halloween from a more spiritual perspective, or Day of the Dead from a spiritual perspective. Then it's something about the power of 3. It's something about that holiday that is significant. I don't know why it's coming through that way, but that's how it's coming through for some of y'all in this group. Okay, guidance. It's a boat afloat, because the duck looks like a boat afloat energy again. When you make divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. I spoke of fixed energy. We're going to get one more for you, and we're going to call it Trust the Process. I don't even have to read the card. I'll hold it here for you guys. I don't have to read the card. We see where this is going, right? Guidance, trust the process. Even this is a form of guidance for you to trust the process too, but you have the choice. And do not forget that you have the choice, and that those choices are your own. We're going to ring on yours. We have to ring on yours. I normally save the ringing for after, but we got to ring on yours. Peace, love, and light, beautiful soul. You're blessed, pile 3. You're further than where you used to be. Allow yourself to accept that glory. If you enjoy the vibe around here, be sure to subscribe, and of course, check out my Oracle decks. See you next time.